everybody uses it, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah, we're talking
Yeah,
about C4 guys, C4 from Cellular Core.
yep.
Um, Fucking
Anybody
useless
who
pre-workout.
doesn't know what C4 is, you're an idiot. Everybody knows what it is. It's like the Walmart staple. It's
Well, technically the
the
Walmart staple 6-star, whatever the fuck that
That's
is.
true. That's true.
Yeah,
Six Star has those NFL athletes signed to them. They have like TJ Watt, I think, is signed with them.
yeah, it's the most like
um,
useless fucking supplements. Like if you're sponsored by them, like how can you do that to yourself? Be like you're like basically propping up a useless supplement company, but to each their own.
yep. But C4 is it's always that blue raspberry flavor too. It's never anything else.
Yeah,
And
yeah, it's a pretty common flavor.
it's the pre-workout that you see all the broccoli heads take. Or I mean, I see it in the schools even, like when I teach, but it's just such a mediocre pre-workout. Like
Yeah,
I've never once gotten like, if you guys know pre-workout, you know what I mean when I say like the spider tingles like in your hands and whatnot, but
yeah,
never gotten it from that. Um it's just also super mediocre flavor wise. Like if you're getting normally with pre-workouts, if they taste good, they're probably not going to affect you that well, and if they taste like shit, they're going to do real well for you. And
yeah,
C
basically.
C4 doesn't taste good and doesn't do you anything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's their ready to drink stuff is pretty good. Their pre-bottled drinks are pretty good. I will vouch
Oh,
for
the
that.
cans.
Yeah, the cans and C4 Ultimate is not bad. C4 Ultimate's a pretty like well-rounded pre-workout. It's not the best in the world, but I think that if you're going to spend your money on Cellucor, you got to get C4 Ultimate. Otherwise, don't even bother. But again, their ready to drink really isn't too bad at all. Um, I like their yellow cans has like a little bit of beta alanine, so like it's a pretty good energy drink to have, like just kind of willy nilly, I guess. Um, Besides the beta alanine, but then like for like leg day, it's pretty. I like it for leg day because I get a little bit of tingling from the beta alanine, and then the caffeine and stuff like that's pretty good too. So I like the ready to drink stuff.
Yeah, but we just kind of started talking on that because I mean, we'll get into it after we do some updates, but that's kind of like our precursor to shit you shouldn't trust just because everyone else is trusting it. And
Hmm.
I mean, that's universal across not just pre workouts, but other types of supplements or just in general, like literally anything in your life. You should actually do your own due diligence. But yeah, we can kind of hit some updates too. Paul, you're getting real close to Excalibur.
Yeah, yeah. I'm 2 weeks out as of today. 14 days, so 13 and some change. So we're getting there, and the progress is getting exponential. Just like it was last show, where every day I'm making more progress than the day before. And the span of like a week, I make as much progress as like if I was doing like a recomp, like a maintenance recomp, I'm doing as much in the span of 1 week as I would in like 2 months on like a recomp, like a healthy basic recomp.
Yeah.
Um, like I could physically see the fat differences from like Thursday's leg day to the previous Thursday's leg day. Like I look like a completely different guy. Like my fat levels are just completely different.
I mean,
So like
I
that's pretty
comment on
exciting.
you pulling your skin. That's crazy how much you can pull.
Yeah, it's all like it's that's something that I've always wanted to be able to do is just like pull my skin like that. I don't know why, it's just kind of cool to be able to do it, but it's thinning out. All my skin's kind of thinning out, and it gets more stretchy. Your skin gets more stretchy. Um, so like on my like rib area, it's pretty thin. My arms, it's pretty thin. My back, it's pretty thin. So um, the less fat I have, the more I can pull from that. And the next week is going to be even more crazy because today we're pulling artificial sweeteners and flavors. So it's everything's natural now, as far as what I'm eating. And so like right now I'm having just like a super just regular basic black coffee. It's just French roast Walmart brand. It's just cheap because that's all I can have for pre-workout as well. So I don't want to get like an $8 bag of coffee to use as pre-workout that I'm gonna destroy in like a week. So
You
I got like a $4 bag.
You heard it here. You heard it here first, folks. If you're drinking diet Dr. Pepper and using that unnatural sweetener, you have given up your natty card.
Yeah, yeah, you'd be unnatural at that point with that sucralose and aspartame and all that shit. But no, it's just like your adrenal gland resetting, and it's just a good rule of thumb that like for most of prep you can have all these sweeteners. Like I got like 3 million different fucking gums next to me, but um when you're getting closer to the show, it's a good rule of thumb to just pull everything out that's unnatural. That way, it also kind of keeps you on plan and keeps you locked in. Because if you're having like for instance, Dave Palumbo had a video about like how to get through prep and like it has so a lot of gums have sugar alcohol as like their way of sweetening the gum. And so some people, not me, I have like a couple pieces a day. It's really not that much, maybe three or four at most. Usually one during training and then like a couple during the day. But he was saying that if you some people have like 1 2 packs of gum a day, like they're always chewing gum, and like that adds up. Even though sugar alcohol isn't technically like a net carb, you're still adding calories to your body that you don't need to be adding. So um, he's saying just to pull gum entirely, pull anything that could be added calories out, and that's easier said than done, obviously, but one of the ways of doing that is pulling natural flavors and sweeteners, or unnatural flavors and sweeteners, anything artificial, and that'll kind of cut out pretty much fucking everything. So really, all I can have now is water and coffee for like my drinks and stuff. I can. I'm gonna try to see if I can find like natural, like I know Zevia might be one of them, like natural flavored drinks. But the problem is the sweetener, because a lot of time they'll say, "Oh, it's naturally flavored," but then they'll put like sucralose in there or something, or aspartame or something as the sweetener, and I can't have it at that point. So I'm gonna take a look around, see what I can find, just so that I have some flavor in my life that's besides coffee and water. Um, and then for like food, all I can really have now is just is mustard pretty much for added, sauces. I can have hot sauces, stuff like that, salt, added salt, stuff like that. And then some like no salt seasonings as well, that I have, like some basic herbs, and Mrs. Dash is one of them. So pulling all that shit out too, because we're supplementing salt. So I got to go saltless seasonings and supplement the salt specifically when I'm supposed to have it. So um, it's getting interesting, that's for sure.
Now,
Getting
in
tough.
regards to the unnatural, you have the Mike Menser loophole you can still use though, where you're allowed to take crystal meth as your pre-workout. So that is the
Yeah,
loophole. So
yeah.
make sure to keep
He,
that in mind.
yeah. My coach made a comparison to that because he had me pull my Adderall a few weeks before last show and keep it out, and he was like, Adderall it is an amphetamine. It's dextroamphetamine, but he's like it's basically like Mike Menser being on meth. He's like it's kind of like that. It's gonna help make you hold on to fat, and it's not good to judge based off hunger because it curbs your hunger and shit. And so he's like let's just pull it, and he's like I know it sucks, but we got to get you dialed in. So he had me pull my Adderall a little while ago, and that sucked. But yeah, he compared it to Mike Menser.
I mean, never. I'm never going to ever, lose my clean card again or anything like that. But I am super curious as to how meth work like reacts as a pre-workout.
Did he actually do real meth? Because I know nothing about it.
Yeah, he was taking legitimate, like full on, just abusing meth as his pre-workout.
What the fuck? Let me see if I can. I just pulled up his like Wikipedia page.
If
Um,
you look up Mike Menser meth, you're gonna find all the stories.
yeah. Um, that's crazy. So I guess like somebody on YouTube talked about it, but I'll look into it more because I'm curious. I know Rich Piana took a lot of Adderall for his pre-workouts, but the problem with Adderall,
Rich,
and I can speak to
I
this
was,
personally. What's that?
yeah, I was just gonna say Rich Piana took everything under the sun. So
This is true. This is true. But he did take a lot of Adderall for a lot of his training, and he talked about it. And he was like, "It's fine I like, to me, knowing what Adderall does, it's a good stimulant. It's a really good stimulant. It keeps you focused. Um, it curbs your hunger like fucking crazy. Like you could like starve yourself almost on Adderall alone. It's crazy. But the problem is that I believe it's a blood thinner kind of. It basically makes your pumps like fucking shit. So that's one of the things that he mentioned was that Adderall is great if you're trying to focus in the gym, but it's shit for getting a pump because you just won't get one. You just won't get a pump. And it's happened to me before where I forget to take it when I was supposed to, and then I take out my pre-workout, and the pump's okay, but like it's not like it's definitely worse when you're taking Adderall is what I'm trying to say. So
Yeah,
yeah, that's no fun.
I was going to say, and that's also to help with what you have going on upstairs. So
Yeah,
pulling
it.
that kind of messes with you in general.
Oh yeah, yeah. My quality of life drastically decreased pulling it out because I just have basically no dopamine. That's really all it is. Um, Having no baseline dopamine, you just literally don't enjoy anything. There's nothing you look forward to. You don't enjoy doing anything. Um, I get a lot of dopamine from caffeine, so that's kind of where I'm at. And multitasking, if I'm multitasking, I get more dopamine. So I like to multitask and set these individual goals. Like everybody has their own ways of doing things. So, um, there's different routes you can take, but for me, it's just multitasking and caffeine, and that helps a lot. But um, people don't realize it, but a big source of dopamine people get is food. Just good tasting food. Just an enormous amount of dopamine comes from that. So having really, I mean, I'm enjoying pretty much every meal because I'm hungry every single fucking meal, but like it's not the tastiest of foods. So it's like having very little amount of food, not the tastiest of foods, not even get to enjoy my coffee anymore. Not having like my dopamine is just fucking in the shitter. So it's like it's hard for me to enjoy anything. And really, I'm just trying to hold on to the gym at this point. Like I'm really looking forward to the chest day later. So I mean that's kind of where I'm at, but it's still fun.
See, I get a similar thing looking forward to my workouts, but like I texted you about what I try doing, I change up my music all the time, and
Yeah,
that kind of keeps it interesting in the gym too, and being able to have variety makes it so it's not the same thing over and over and over again.
yeah. I change up my music pretty frequently.
You got to try
I go
Italian opera,
through.
man.
I just can't do that, dude. There's just no way. It would drive me fucking insane. But I'll go through like Eminem phases. Usually it's like per artist. So like I'll go through like Eminem phases. I'll go through like IMJ Kill phases. I'll go through like YouTube video, like Machiavelli motivation phases where like for like a week straight, all I listen to is like motivational videos. Um,
Yeah.
I'll listen to like Arnold speeches for a few days or something. Like it just changes pretty frequently. Need that variety.
I go from like rock to the 2000s hip hop we listened to at middle school dances
Yeah.
to like my Italian opera that I just got into.
Which is fucking crazy. You need to check out
I
like
got I got told I was mental because I do my chest back days. I do a chest back split. That that's not normally two muscles you put together, but with this Arnold plan I've been doing, it's like designed to shock the muscle because again you don't use those two together normally.
yeah,
And so I start off with bench, which is a compound movement for chest, and I end with deadlifts, which is another compound movement. But you
yeah,
do heavy deadlifts at the very end, so it's everything you have left in the tank. And I, I'm dying at that point. I've done 7, 8 exercises at that point, so I'm dying at that point, and still having to do those deadlifts. So I normally will have like if I'm not working out with someone, I'll call someone over that I know and be like, "Hey, can you just yell at me if I don't get like whatever number of deadlifts up?" And
yeah,
he goes, "Yeah, sure." And I take off my headphones whenever I have someone do that because I want to hear them yelling at me, and I tell them to get like real abusive with it because I
yeah.
respond really well to negative reinforcement. Um, and so I'll take off my headphones. They'll be like, "Wow, no music," and I'm like, "It was just Italian opera, anyways. It doesn't matter."
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't really keeping you going that much. At least it wouldn't keep me going that much. You're like, I'm listening to Italian opera and you sent it. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? I'm gonna just live. You know what? Live your life. I'm not gonna.
Yeah,
I'm not concerned. So
yeah, no, wild pump. Let me tell you.
it was insane when I couldn't understand a single word they were saying. It was crazy.
There was one lady in one of the songs who was singing in English and then went right back to Italian. I was lost.
Yep, that's how it goes. You should check out Danheim, Danheim. It's like a Viking music kind of shit. Like
Mm.
deep drums and chanting and shit. You should check it out. I'll go through
I
phases where I
have
listen to that too.
I have something similar on my regular gym playlist where it's like Valhalla Calling. I think we've talked about that song before.
I
But
think so.
it's just the same. It's the Nordic premise of like we're going to war.
Yeah, exactly. That stuff can be pretty good sometimes. If I'm in the mood for it, that is. I gotta be in the mood
Yeah.
for it. It just
Basically
depends, I
this
guess.
the soundtrack to that show Vikings. That
Yeah.
I've
Oh
done
yeah.
that one before. That's a good one.
Yep. I love that show, and the music was phenomenal in that show too. So great,
Yeah,
great show. If you guys haven't watched it, check out Vikings. It's really good. Really good show. It is kind of a commitment though, because there
it
are a lot
is.
of stretches where it's really boring, but it ends up being worth it if you could stick through it. But do you see that? As a side note, do you see Twisted Metal came out
I
on
did not.
Peacock? So Twisted Metal, the video game from like PlayStation 2, they just made a TV show for it. Sony Pictures and Universal are behind it. They're the ones who
Interesting.
made it. So it's like big budget. It's actually fucking sick. I watched the first episode. I'm like, this is actually going to be pretty dope. Like it's a comedy like thriller show. So like there's actually some pretty good jokes. I was laughing a couple times and uh it's actually like I went into it thinking that it was either going to be terrible or amazing, and I think it's actually going to be really good. I'm looking forward to it. But um,
Hell yeah.
anyways, yeah. So back to kind of where we're at now.
Yeah, I
Two
was I
weeks
was gonna
out.
say you said that there was a big change for this next upcoming week. Is that the unnatural
Yeah,
pulling all the unnatural? Yeah.
yeah. That's the big change this week. It sucks. It's not that part isn't fun. I can get through for the most part, especially if I can have my coffee with my equal and my like. I might have like a can of like zero sugar Dr. Pepper or something a day, and then like some like 0 calorie Gatorade or Powerade or something like that for the electrolytes. That stuff helps get through my day, and then adding like a little bit of equal to like my sweet potato helps a lot. But having all of that pulled definitely makes it a lot more difficult. So I just got to become like a machine. I just got to become like basically emotionless the next like 2 weeks. Um, that way I can just get through. But I mean, what's good is that like the way I kind of look at coming up to like an event like this, whether that's, a show or flying somewhere or taking a trip or something, is that I measure it kind of based off like days in the gym. So like today is probably my like last chest day before the show because the next time I hit chest, it's probably gonna be a combination of with something else.
Yeah,
Um,
it's your last true chest day.
Yeah, exactly. So that's exciting. Like that's kind of how I like to look at it. So like chances are if it goes similar to the last show, Sunday, a week from tomorrow would be my last leg day. Where normally it's on Thursdays. We'd push it to Sunday. I do another leg day. And then that Monday will be chest tries. Tuesday will be, or no, sorry, Monday will be chest tries, delts. Tuesday will be back and buys, and then Wednesday is a total upper body, and then it's Thursday, Friday off. So Saturday, I'm thinking probably going to end up being a rest day, and then so what I'm going to do is probably Thursday, I might do like a chest and back day or something like that, like just to have fun with it, and then have my arm day, rest day on Saturday, and then Sunday hit legs, and then do the next 3 days of training, and then it's Thursday, Friday off, and then show. So
Yep.
we're getting closer. So that's how I'm trying to look at it. Is like I only really have like a couple more full arm days, a delt day, a back day, and a chest day, and then I'm done. As far as like the individual days, then it's combined days, and the combined days fucking suck. I'm exhausted by the end of each training session. Plus, I almost always have cardio too with those too, so that's gonna be fun.
Yeah,
But
that's crunch time, baby.
yeah,
That's coming in.
basically, basically where we're at now is crunch time. So I'm just trying to get through it. these next couple weeks, and then enjoying the show as much as I can. Uh, I'm gonna enjoy this one definitely a lot more than I did the last one, just because we're gonna come in so much fucking better than the last one, by a long shot. Not even by a ton of weight. Like right now, we're down 6 pounds from the last show, but it's a lot more fat. It was trimmed
Yeah.
off, um, and it is partially due to what I'm taking, but the food and the cardio is in a much better place than it was last time. Like I was so depleted. I was doing 45 minutes of cardio twice a day for 5 days a week. Now it's 40 minutes, and I was taking in less carbs than I do now by a lot. So doing all of that now, like having more carbs, having less cardio makes it a lot easier, but I am still exhausted. Training is hard. Like I look forward to training, but then I'm like 2 movements in, I'm like, I'm already fucking hungry. Like my stomach starts feeling empty. And I'm just like running on fumes at that point. And then I just want to go home and eat. And then the problem is, it's not even that like I'm hungry and want to go home and eat, because I could deal with that. It's that when I get home, the meal I'm having is not going to be like a meal that's filling,
Yeah.
because it's 6 ounces of tilapia and 3 ounces of jasmine rice. Like it goes in my system real fast. Like I barely even enjoy the food because I eat it so fast. And then it's out of my system in 3 seconds because it's so light. Like it's so little amount of calories. It's only like maximum like 350, 400 calories in that one meal. So it's like, it's just fucking gone. Like right after I'm done eating it. So that's the hard part. I'm not even
I'll,
full after my meal.
I'll have to do my best not to send you my Five Guys trip later today.
Oh, dude, I would love Five Guys right now. I'm praying that he gives me a refeed tomorrow, just like added food. But yeah, when we hit the show 2 weeks from now, that's when I should be able to get a burger and fries in between prejudging and finals. Last time I had a burger and fries was my last show, and I had to take off the bun and not get any, like, get like a side of fries, not like a basket of fries. And then I think I had to take the tomato off or something as well. There was something that I had to take off it too. I forget exactly, but I think he also said no fatty sauces, just like ketchup. But then like the guy who was also my coach's client, who was there competing, he got to have like a fully loaded burger and ton of fries because he was just at a different place. So I should
Yeah.
hopefully be able to get like a fully loaded burger and fries, probably a good meal that day, and then I'm hoping um like whatever I want for the entire next day. Chances are, I'm hoping, but we'll see. We'll see what he says. Rebound's gonna be important because what our plan is after this show is to stay basically 6 pack lean year round now, to never really lose it, and to stay like only like 6 weeks max out of like conditioning from a show. You know what I mean? So like if I can get into a show 12 weeks ahead of time, but really have like 6 weeks of conditioning to do, we can be like really meticulous in losing just a little bit of fat at a time. So that way I can come in full as fuck and have all the fat shedded off. You know, we'd be in a much better place for prep per show. And that show hopefully is going to be the national qualifier or the national show. If I can win the qualifier this show, which where I'm at now, considering the exponential progress I'm making, I'm hoping that I can come in pretty peeled to the show, especially since I haven't even done a water cut yet, and I'm already like if I came in with this conditioning, if I had this conditioning already for my last show, I probably would have won my class at least,
Yeah.
and I don't know if I would have won overall, but just because the guy who showed up for overall showed up pretty good, but definitely won class in both my classes for sure. So that's
And
my opinion. But
you had your coach's other client there at the previous show at the Victory. Is he going to be
yeah,
out there at the Excalibur?
no, he won't be there. His focus was that show. Um, it was his first show, it was my first show, but he put 12, 14 weeks into that show. I put about 5, 6 of like true prep. We did a little bit of a
Yeah.
cut prior to prep, but 5, 6 weeks of like true prep went into that show. So he won't be at this one. But I don't know if he's gonna put on. He needs to put on some size. I think he was like lower 170s. I think on stage. So a little bit of size will do him some good because I'll probably show up on stage like at this rate, like lower 180s. Is probably what I'll show up on stage. Which my goal showing up on stage, I want to be like low to mid 190s. on stage probably or higher, but it just depends on whatever weight caps eventually set for men's physique. I got to stay within that. So I want to be on the upper end of the weight cap considering I'm on the taller-ish side. I'm usually competing in one of the bigger height classes. So I think this one coming up is 5'8" and up for novice, which is you've competed but you haven't won your class yet. And then open, I think I'm class D, which I think is like 5'10" to 5'11 and a half or something. Because the last time I measured myself, it was like 5'10" and a half. So I'm just going to play it safe. And if they need to adjust my division, I think that'll be fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the plan right now. So that's my update for the day, pretty much. It's just grinding it out, really. So next time you guys hear from us, who's listening, I'll be on peak week, which I'll talk about. So I'm gonna be taking in probably 2.5, 3 gallons of water, and hopefully taking a decent diuretic.
Yeah, that's that's gonna be you being a lot more frustrated because peak week sucks.
I mean, what sucked more than anything, my last peak week was just the training, really, because the training just takes so much out of you. Doing so much upper body shit like that. Like I did like 6, like for chest, tries, and delts. I think I did like 4 or 5 like double sets or supersets. I mean, like I think I did like 3 chest movements. I think 2 tricep movements and 2 delt movements, I believe. So, and I was doing them pretty back to back, so that way I'm not like resting for super long because then I end up be there for like 2 hours. So I did supersets where like instead of while resting my chest, I'd hit my triceps or something. You know what I mean? So like that took me forever to get through my workout. And back and by was just as bad. And then Wednesday, that upper body, that total upper body was just fucking just wiped me. Like I could have probably fallen asleep on the preacher curl machine. Like if I put my head down, I probably could have passed out. So like that's what's hard. It's not the water intake. It's not the food or anything like that at that point because you're starting to get motivated. Because you're monitoring your water, like there's so much brain power that goes into it. You end up like the day ends up flying by because you're like, all right, like if you got to have like 2.5 gallons, right? For instance, you're like, all right, so I got to drink one of these really like every like 3 hours. So like I have like a half-gallon jug, and I'm like, all right, I got to drink one really like every like 2 hours probably actually because that's 5, that's about 10 hours. And then all of a sudden I'm like an hour and a half in and barely even touched it. I'm like, fuck. So then you got to like swig it and then you like, so it's like you got to monitor it too. And like if you have coffee, I got to use my gallon jug as the source of water for the coffee because I got to make sure I'm only taking in 3 gallons, you know? So
Yeah.
it's like you got to be on top of it. So it ends up requiring your brain being active all day and all of a sudden the day's over, you know, it flies by. It's just the training that sucks, you know? Just got to
See,
get
I don't
some
know if
training.
I don't know if I could do that over the summer because I don't work over the summer, so I would just be stewing in my head the whole day.
Exactly, exactly. So that's one of the things that I truly believe in is that if you're in prep, you should stay busy.
Yeah.
Because then you're just going to sit there and just be upset that you're hungry the whole time. So like, like I'm going to go out after we record today and like do DoorDash and shit. Like, so I'm not sitting here hungry. You know, like during the day, if it's available, I'll go do DoorDash and deliver food so that I'm just not at home doing nothing. And just hungry, you know, because like with the lack of dopamine too, I don't enjoy like video games or anything like that really much right now. So it's like I can't just like sit here and play games, or like sit here and read or something and enjoy it as much as I normally would. So I just go and do something. I just go and stay busy. And then by the time I come home, I gotta like quickly take my cleanse and then go back to work and then eat and then all of a sudden I gotta work again for another couple hours and then I gotta get ready for the gym and then all of a sudden it's the end of the day. So staying busy is important. Dave Palumbo talked about that in that episode where he was talking about, or his YouTube video where he's talking about how to get through prep. And he said when he was a full-time bodybuilder, where that's all he did, which was bodybuild, he said he would do projects in his house, like cleaning out his garage or cleaning out his closet or painting a room or something. And that's what kept him busy. So like he like rearranged the closet one day and it took him like 3 hours and all of a sudden he had to eat again. Like it was time to eat. And he was
Yeah.
like, that's what he's like, he basically became a handyman because of prep, which is it's smart. Like that's one way of
Yeah.
doing it for sure. So, you got to stay busy, but these guys, they'll take like the last week off before their show. And I'm like, fucking for what? Like, what are you taking off for? It's not it's not like you're taking it off so that you can get there. It's not like you're prepping for the Olympia where you want to get there like 4 or 5 days early, to make sure that you got your food dialed in. Like you're just going to sit at home and do nothing. Like you're eating less than ever. So you're not even spending a lot of time eating. It's not like you're bulking and you're spending a lot of time cooking and eating. Like you're
Yeah,
barely eating anything. So really all you're doing is just cardio and training and then you're just sitting there unhappy. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't know. I don't get it when guys take, work off for this shit. I guess, I don't know.
you're supposed to just stoically look at the wall the whole day.
Literally just fucking zone out, just like trip, take some like acid or something so you forget you have to eat.
Jesus. Yeah. Well, now we're back to the Mike Menser loophole.
Yeah, exactly. That's why he really took it. It was so that he could just get through prep. He didn't have to work. He
Exactly.
just didn't want to be hungry, so he just took meth and just stared at the wall.
If I heard that story and didn't know what his physique looked like, I would have called like a super mid performance or something like that. But then you look at him like on stage and it's like, wow, this
Yeah,
he brought it every single time.
he's pretty insane. Mike Menser's pretty insane. Yeah, he looked really good. Um, I'm hoping to have a mustache like that for my show. It'd be great.
Well, I was gonna say, show your wife the picture of your coach's other athlete who competed at the victory because he
Well,
had the
she was
mustache
there.
rocking.
Yeah, she knew
Well,
who it was.
yeah, she has to see because that he pulled off the mustache. So
Yeah, he had the stash. So I'm gonna probably try to run a stash too. I could definitely
and
run like a mean stash if I wanted to, like going down, like definitely like a handlebar if I really wanted to. So when
I'm
I go to
totally
my
not
barber,
biased.
yeah, exactly. When I go to my barber a couple days before the show, I'll just be like, "Hey, what do you think I should do with my stash?" And then just have him do it for me.
Yeah.
Um, because
Well,
then
yours is long enough that you could do like that weird lumberjack where you shave this and just have it just run up your sideburns.
I really could, if I really wanted to, I could have it. I could have like a whole fucking thing come up,
Yeah.
but it just because my it just connects so far out. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, because like what sucks the most, and I was telling Paige about this yesterday, is that like I've been telling her I wanted a long beard for the show because nobody runs beards at these shows. Nobody can grow a fucking beard half the time. And a lot of the time, all these guys are on DHTs, like Masteron, for instance, and therefore it like literally makes your hair basically fall out. And makes it difficult to grow any hair. But my beard's the opposite. I grow better when I'm on everything. So it's like I can show up with this straight, long beard that would look insane. And then now my coach is like, I want you to be clean shaven. I'm like, for what? Like, I don't like if they were like, oh, you got to look like if they're like, this is how you should look, clean shaven, blah blah blah. Sure, but like, there's nothing anywhere that says that. You know,
I think
they
it's
literally can't judge you based off your facial hair.
Well, I think it's more so to make sure it doesn't draw attention away. It's like if, like, I know obviously I'm a long, long ways out, but if I ever stepped on with my hair down, that would be a problem. I'd have to have it pinned up and tied back so then it,
Yes,
it doesn't draw from the rest of the physique. And like you obviously have like a full fleshed out beard. It's not like patchy or anything like that. And since it's so thick, I feel like that's why it's shave time because it would potentially draw away.
yeah, there is one guy. I think, yeah, More Plates, More Dates did a video about it. Here, I'm gonna text it to you. Um, I'll show you that this is the thumbnail that he had. So this is how Indian bodybuilding ends up working is that a lot of time they want the competition to be fair in their opinion. So it's like if you look too crazy, then they're going to disqualify you. So like this guy was so far ahead, everybody else in the competition, they just disqualified him because he was too muscular and too lean. But like, look at his beard, like fucking sick. Like that's like it's super full,
That's
like
pretty wild.
pretty cleaned up. You know what I mean? So like to me, I think that his beard improves his look. That's me personally. I think he looks good with the beard. I
That's
also don't
that's a
know
that's
what's
a
that.
funny thumbnail. You're disqualified.
I mean, that's literally what happened. They disqualified him because he was too fucking perfect. Like he's almost like that's almost like Olympia caliber. Like that's definitely pro
Yeah,
caliber for his
for
physique,
sure.
but he's like borderline Olympia caliber. Like that's how crazy this dude is. But yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I guess like it kind of pulls away from his traps. I guess because it does kind of cover like his traps up a little bit. But also a big reason of that is because the lighting. It's just the shadow. You know, you can see where the his beard ends, and the shadow covers up like his neck and some of his traps. You know, so
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see what happens. I'll probably just run the stash and pull a C-bum or some shit. But the problem is I'm bald, so it's like, do I go completely fucking bald everywhere, or do I run the stash?
That's that's Q-tip look right there.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safer that I run the stash, and if like the night before, coach is like we're posing in the hotel room or something, and he's like, "Yeah, I want you to shave the stash." I'd be like, "All right, I'll shave it," but like at least that way I have something going into it, and I could shave it if need be, you know?
Well, the stash helps with the grin. The it's charismatic because when you do
Yeah, his
that
side
little like
side smile.
exactly, it almost
Yeah,
emphasizes it. So I think it adds to it. I think it would be a good
yeah,
look.
I agree. I think stat mustaches have a place in bodybuilding specifically. It's not the
You know what?
best.
Break some barriers. Do just the chin goatee and nothing else.
Do one of those like early 2000s like Smash Mouth kind of bullshit, like a soul patch, you know,
Yeah.
like a long soul patch. I could totally have that if I wanted to. But it just sucks because, like I said, not many guys can grow a good beard, and here I am, and I can't even show it off. But it is
Yeah.
what it is.
Your perfect genetics beard wise are not able to be displayed.
Not able to be, yeah, exactly. And my wife doesn't like me having a beard either, so it's not even like in my relationship I could do it, you know? Because like if she
Yeah,
was
but
like, I love
you
long
have a
beards,
beard
I
anyways.
yeah, but she likes it shorter, and I've been telling her I'm going to keep it long for the show, so I've been growing it out on purpose. Like it's pretty long right now, and it's getting straighter too. So like if she was like, "Oh, I like long beards," I could grow out a fucking gnarly ass beard, and really not that long. If I just kept this going, give me another month, and it's like it'd be long enough to straighten it and need beard oils and shit to actually take care of it. But yeah, she's just not a
You
fan
could
because she
still be
wants me to
using
trim it
beard
anyways.
oils.
I mean, I use balm on like occasionally, I guess, but it's nothing like I really don't I don't really take too much care of it. It's just because I know I'm going to eventually buzz it anyways. Where if
Yeah.
I was going to keep it long term, I would take more care of it. One guy I know has like a crazy long straight beard, and he collects beard oils. Like I collect fragrances, he collects beard oils from all different kinds of brands and smells and shit. Like he's always putting beard oil in his beard, and it looks fucking crazy. Um, so I would grow it out if I could, but if you don't like it, bodybuilding I guess doesn't like it, so it is what it is.
Time to make the bodybuilding scene progressive. Bring back beards, baby.
Well, I mean, at least they're going in the direction that like tattoos aren't a problem, which is good.
Yeah.
For the longest time, tattoos were a problem, but they made it a rule within the IFBB and NPC that you can't judge someone based off their tattoos. I believe like it can't remove points from you.
Well, so here's the thing though with tattoos, and I obviously have my tattoos and everything, so I support tattoos, but I can I know when I have my vascularity, and it's tough to see it through. Like I have this is like
Yes.
a it's not a full sleeve, it's just my forearm, but your forearm is one of your most vascular areas, at least for me personally, and
Yeah.
I can see like a major one, like my major vein that goes through my forearm, I can see that protrude. But other than that, I get no sign of vascularity even though I know it's there. So it's not
Yeah.
even that they're being like discrediting you for having the tattoos, it's just that I they can't see the vascularity through it. So
Yeah. No, I get that completely. Like that's why I'm gonna hold off on more tattoos, but it used to be like where they would literally like remove points because you had tattoos. But like they don't really do
yeah.
that anymore. And Steve Weinberger at that seminar was like, we really don't care about tattoos anymore. Like he's like, it
Yeah.
really doesn't affect the placing and really at the end of the day, the tan that they spray on really does cover a lot of your tattoos. Like if you look at my show photos, like my tattoo is really not that prominent because the tan really covers it up because it's a layer over your skin, so it really does kind of drown it out. So but I think my next tattoo, I want to get a matching one with Paige, and I want to get a ring around my finger, so I don't have to wear a ring to the gym or have to wear a ring really whenever I want. I can just wear the tattoo ring essentially that's always there. But I also want to get. I decided this the other day. It hit me. It was a leg. I want to get a leg sleeve on my right leg. So I have the left arm sleeve and the right leg sleeve, and I want it Christianity focused. So
Well,
either Mary or Jesus on my quad, and then like the prophets throughout the rest of my leg. So
well, you
something
can
like that.
definitely do your leg sleeve while you're still doing men's physique because
Exactly.
that's not worried about. But that just kind of
Exactly.
solidifies and doesn't let you like move divisions.
I mean, I could totally move up to classic. Like, I really think that if I wanted to, I probably could move up to classic. I would just need to change up my splits instead of 2 arm days. It would need to be 2 leg days.
Well, I
Because like
just
my
mean
legs
in the
are one of
sense.
my strengths. But yeah,
I
if
mean
you
in
move
the
up to
sense of the
classic, my
tattoo.
leg
Yeah.
tattoo would potentially pull away from my legs. But my right leg is also my better leg, so it would it wouldn't be as bad if I put on my left leg, it would like drown out my inferior leg even more at that rate, you know?
Yeah.
So I don't know. One day maybe I'll see what the plan is after the show. You know, maybe my coach is like, "Hey, let's move you up to classic. Actually, I think that's where you belong." I'd be like, "Fuck yeah, dude, let's go!" But
I could finally wear a Speedo in front of other dudes.
finally wear less on stage. Let's go. But if everybody is like, yeah, no, you're built for men's physique and you're gonna crush it in men's physique, then so be it. I'd rather do amazing in a physique in a competition I still enjoy versus like getting decimated in a competition that I want to do. You know, like that I want to do a little bit more. Like everybody wants to do classic right now, and it's the hype of the industry right now. But like men's physique really, like I said, isn't too far off size wise. And so if I'm going to be able to crush it and get really high up there in men's physique or get decimated in classic, I'd choose getting high up there in men's physique all day. You know, that's a
Yeah.
no brainer to me. 100%
I think
of
it's Well, I
what's
just
that?
think it's more so based in because, like, obviously, men's open, you have to be a fucking unit. Like, there's no
Yeah,
getting around that. Like,
it's
even in the,
genetics.
the amateur building, like, you have to be a unit to do men's open. And
Yep.
physique and classic physique is size wise. I know we talked about like waist to the shoulder ratio yesterday, about like in this very exact context, but like size wise, and I say this solely in comparison to men's open, physique and classic physique are, within the same realm of understanding size wise. So I think it's more so people are attracted to the classic physique just because they can do their poses. I think that quite literally is only the only
Yeah.
reason, because like you and I talked about how some people or a lot of people can't even do the men's physique poses, and
Yeah.
like it's literally just because they want to go do their own poses. Like I couldn't do my stupid W thing in men's physique. Like that wouldn't fly. So
I mean, it's men's physique, just like classic, is constantly evolving because men's physique has only really been around just as long as classic physique has been around. So the barrier between the two has always been very gray. The weight cap in men's physique is really what's going to start separating class physique from men's physique. And so what it's going to come down to is like class physique, the idea behind it is how aesthetic and perfect can we make the human body? And
yeah,
it's like how big can we get while staying lean and aesthetic? Men's open is like how basically at this point how freakishly big can we get? Like how big can we get
yeah,
and stay lean on stage? Like that's the goal. Men's physique is like how aesthetic can we get and how diced to the fucking gills can we get? Like that's really what men's physique is about. And it's like the idea, like I've said a million times, that originally was like, what's the ideal male figure? It's like, what's the perfect male model body? And that's what men's physique was based off of. But it's gotten bigger and leaner year and year. And the board shorts have also gotten way smaller. Like right now, the inseams for board shorts are like 5 or 7 inches, typically 7 inches, right? Which is on the shorter side. Where men's physique shorts, when it first started, were like the 12-inch inseams that like went past your knees. You
well, yeah,
know
it was almost like those basketball like way hangers, the deep
exactly.
drops. Yeah,
Yeah, like the old board shorts from then. It just they were a lot bigger. So like that's why I'm also more okay with men's physique now than I would have been with it 10 years ago because it's just in a different world now. And like I said, it's just the barrier, the difference between men's physique and classic physique really isn't that much. The problem is, like I've said a million different times, is the rap that it gets. Men's physique guys, typically you get a lot of assholes competing in men's physique. A lot of the top dudes are pieces of shit. Um,
yeah,
they're all really terrible people. Where classic is quite the opposite. Some of the best guys in the industry are at the top in classic. But
Well, just look at the top three. I mean, they all smack each other's booties all the time, and they're doing
yeah,
goofy shit up there.
yeah, it's a good competition. But in men's physique, it's like Aaron Banks would be posting like, oh, he's like, I'm still in their heads, and he's like 6 months after the fucking Olympia. I'm like, dude, shut up. Like, no one gives a shit. Like, show up to
Yeah.
the Olympia and that's it. Like, you would never see C-Bomb saying something like so fucking arrogant. You know what I mean? Like, it's just arrogancy is all over men's physique, and it really shouldn't be.
Well, I think that's more so just the personality, because like obviously, like even if Sebum, for God forbid, was in men's physique, he would still be the most humble dude out there. Like, and that's
Yeah.
just like it really comes down to personality.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like, because a lot of men's physique guys were guys who started off as like just kind of lean and like were like sport, like athletes and stuff like that, and just kind of had a six pack and like a small waist. And that's just, they were just kind of like a little aesthetic. And then they just kind of got into bodybuilding that way and just kind of stayed with men's physique. Where classic and men's open, typically they start from the bottom. Like, you don't you're not like a soccer player and then all of a sudden you do men's open. You know what I mean? It's like you
Yep.
have been wanting to do men's open from the beginning of ever doing any sort of sport.
Or you were just a big fucking kid.
Yeah, there's that too. But then you're talking about like powerlifting to strongmen, where it's like some of these kids are just strong as fuck, just built that way. Brian Shaw was just built that way. He's just 6'9" or some shit, and just was always strong. So he actually decided to focus on it and became a world's strongest man. It's just you got to be born for some of these things. And men's physique and classic physique, I argue, are two divisions that you don't necessarily need to be born for. Granted, genetics and the way you're built are going to play different roles. Like I said yesterday, my waist to shoulder ratio is like pretty gnarly. That's why I'm more built for men's physique than I am for classic. But then there are guys who kind of put on a little bit too much size for men's physique, and that's when they're like more meant for classic versus men's physique. But like I said yesterday, when you're at an NPC show, at an amateur show, you would be surprised the difference between men's physique and classic physique. There really isn't much. Like my coach, being a pro men's physique competitor, I argue was bigger than half, if not more than half of the classic physique guys competing there at that show. And he
Yeah.
just competes pro in men's physique, you know? So it's just like, and then like there's a guest poser for men's open, and he was twice the fucking size of the guy who won overall in men's open, you know? So it's like, it's the size is nowhere near where it's gonna be at a local show. It's nowhere near the pro level. It's nowhere near the Olympia level. Nowhere even close. Um, so the lines are way more blurred when you're at a local competition versus like a pro show or something like that. But everybody compares everything to the Olympia. It's all about the Olympia. It's all about the top stage. And it's like, you really want to see what actual divisions look like, go to any NPC show. That's the majority of competitors. Like 99% of competitors are at NPC shows, not at, or like amateur shows, or at amateur shows, not even necessarily NPC, but amateur. That's what most of them look like. And that'll give you a good idea of what the divisions actually look like in real life versus the top 1% of 1%. It's like saying basketball is, you're only good if you can shoot like Steph Curry. It's like, no,
Yeah.
we're talking about the extreme outliers here. Like the far, far outliers is what we're talking about. Like you can't use Steph Curry as like, this is how everybody should be shooting in basketball. This is how it is. It's like, no, that's not how it is. That's how he is. And that's why he's where he is, you know? So something to keep in mind, at least when you're looking at the divisions.
Yeah. And you mentioned Brian Shaw, so anybody listening, make sure to go watch the Shaw Classic this year. This will be the last time we ever get to see Brian Shaw compete. So
Mm,
it's going to be an emotional one. I mean, obviously he's not, you know, he's not huge in the bodybuilding world, but if you know fitness, you know Brian Shaw and what he's
yep.
done for just lifting. I'm not even going to say powerlifting, bodybuilding, anything, just lifting, like bringing that positive atmosphere to lifting.
Hmm.
Definitely go check it out. I'm blanking on the dates. It's real soon. It's in August. So make sure to go check that out because it's the last time. And I mean, besides Eddie Hall potentially coming over to the Olympia, we're not getting like it's almost like the end and I mean I'm not gonna say era because it's just two dudes, but
No, yeah.
they did bring so much to the table. So
Yeah.
it's time to move on and just relish the fact that we have him for this one last competition.
Yeah, him and Eddie really brought a lot of attention, and Hafthor, to be honest. All three of them really brought a lot of attention to strongman competitors.
Yep.
It's like it really blew up because of them. And again, they're like truly the statistical outliers. Like if you look at like other strongman competitors, they're nowhere near fucking Brian Eddie's and Hafthor's strength. Like it's crazy. It's almost like mind blowing. I'm
Well,
like, wait, this is a strongman competition? I'm like, these guys are like half their size. Like they're like my height. I'm like, what the fuck is going on? But yeah, they're
well,
like the actual genetic outliers.
Bjornsson, I mean, he's like what 6'9", and when he broke the Viking carry, when he carried the 14,000 pound log, he did it for 5 steps. Like it just makes no sense. And those, you're
Yeah,
right. Those three, like people were doing lifting these weights before, but it's just like the amount of time that Arnold put into bodybuilding. Like it's people who make it popular for other people so that the next wave of people will be able to enjoy it and, succeed in that manner. So you're right. These three dudes certainly brought it to the forefront because honestly, how many people prior to those three could even name a strongman?
yeah, exactly. I couldn't even name really any outside of that. Outside of those three,
Yeah,
I couldn't tell you. It's those three are the only three that I know. It's just because they're just that big. Um, so I don't know. That's just how it is. It's like C-Bum. It's like C-Bum really did like bring so much attention to classic physique. Classic physique has been around since 2012 in the Olympia. I'm pretty sure it started in 2012, but like it really got big because of C-Bum really. And for whatever reason, I don't know. I don't even really know why he got big socially and social media. It's just he brought a lot of attention to it. And granted, he has like one of the craziest physiques of all time. Um,
I think it's
but like,
physique plus charisma for him. Like when you think like the most appealing man possible, like that's where the division looks. And
yeah,
he has the physique, but then he's also like facially got good looks. Like, and that's a big. I mean, it's not judged in the bodybuilding world, but outside and in terms of popularity, like looking good, like facially, your facial structure is part of what plays into what makes someone popular when you're looking at a body. And
yeah,
so he has that, and then that. I mean, we mentioned it earlier, but the little side grin with the stash, like that is just like charisma 99 overall. Like when you have those things, I think that's what boosts him. And like we have our like the other guys in the top of classic physique who have great builds. Like we talk about Urs, we've talked about Urs a ton on here, and Urs has that great physique, but just if you put him in the same room as Zebum, his charisma just isn't at the same level. So
yeah,
he still has a ton, don't get me wrong, but it's just not at the level of Sebum, and that's why that's why I think he has such an outlier of social media following.
yeah. There's a bit more social aspect that goes into it for him at least. It's just like he brought a lot of attention to the sport, just like Arnold did. Arnold brought a lot of attention to the sport because he truly did whatever he wanted to actually do. Um, But yeah, it's classic physique wouldn't be where it is today if it wasn't for C-Bomb, to be honest. I think half the competitors who are in classic would be in men's physique, and I think the like another quarter of them would be trying to go for men's open. It's just the popularity has gotten a lot bigger, and classic will eventually, in my opinion, take over as far as the biggest division. Um, in time, I would be surprised if like 10 years from now it's still not the biggest. I'd be very surprised. Men's open is just getting is going way downhill lately. Men's physique is also getting up there too. It's getting a little bit more popular, which is exciting. But what's also sad is that I've also noticed women's competitions are going downhill as well. Women's bodybuilding is pretty much non-existent now in the pro divisions, but wellness is getting up there, which is kind of cool. Um, I really want bikini to go away. It's fucking insulting, but that's just my opinion.
Hmm. And then that's not even talking about the new division we're going to have where it's just legs.
Dude, I mean that's basically what bikini is basically
No,
just
but
judging legs.
for dudes, it's going to
Oh,
be just
imagine,
legs.
imagine, dude, just having like no upper body, but just crazy like Tom Platz legs, like built like a bowling pin or some shit. You know what I mean? Like it's just fucking ridiculous.
What is
Yeah, that'd be nuts.
paraplegic is down low, right? What's when you're paralyzed up top? Because those dudes will run the fucking
I don't think
division.
there is a thing. I don't think that is a thing. I'm pretty sure it can't be. Imagine that. You're just like, you have the most rare condition in the world. You're one of one. What is it? You're paralyzed from the waist up. What? So I could like walk around, but like I can't. My back will break if I try to stand up. He's like fold in half. Like your like back just like rolls back, but your legs are still
Jesus,
standing up. You're like, ah, my hips are broken. You're like hinged. You're like fold in half, basically.
you got to
That would
wear
be
a permanent scoliosis brace.
literally, yeah. You just need like a little like 2x4 on each side of you just to keep you upright. That's what you need. That would suck, but I don't. There's no way anything like that's ever going to come about. But we'll
No,
see. We'll see what if Men's Physique ever actually judges legs, which I don't think they should. That's kind of like the biggest thing that separates Men's Physique from Classic. At that point, it's like if you start judging legs in Men's Physique, it's like just a little smaller Classic Physique guys. Like if guys can't put on that much size for Classic, they just do Men's Physique. It's like there's really no difference between any of the divisions at that point besides size.
yeah,
So I think that they should just not judge legs and keep it that way. But I think that it's okay to allow a little bit of bias. I think that if you come in with a crazy upper body, but then you have chicken legs, I think personally that should penalize you somehow, biasly at least. That's just my opinion because that's not acceptable. You can't do that.
you have the regular placements and regular awards, and then after everyone gets the awards, you bring all the competitors back out and let the fans do an open mic roast session.
Or they do like the judges awards and then the fans awards and like
The
everybody
fans
votes.
award.
That would be kind of fucking sick to be honest. Like you do judges and then you do online voting or some shit. Like everybody goes
Yeah,
online and votes for who their favorite was. Um like actual physique. I think that would be fucking sick. Like I really truly wonder what would happen at like the Olympia, for instance. Like if they had the judges pick their winner and then who the fans would pick.
well, you know what would happen is that if that happened at the Olympia, there'd be just this one, and I'm gonna say nobody just because in the top rankings, but obviously if you're on the O, you're one of the top bodybuilders. So I'm not at all
Yeah.
discrediting that. But when I say nobody, I just mean in comparison. So like whoever places like 20th or something like that, that dude would skyrocket to the top because everyone would be like, let's pick somebody we've never
As
heard
a
of.
troll.
And
Yeah. Let's
yeah,
pick number 60. Let's pick
all
the dead last guy.
all the Reddit boys go on and they just choose some random dude.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think a way to weed that out would be like you have to actually pay for the pay-per-view. Like, because like I don't ever actually pay for the Olympia pay-per-view. I just look at the results afterwards. So like maybe they
Yeah,
only allow people who actually paid for it because it's like 40 or $50 or $60 or something for the weekend to watch the show. So I think that that would be a good way of weeding those types of people out because even I won't pay for it and I wouldn't do something like that. So like the people who would do something like that definitely wouldn't fucking pay for it.
yeah.
So that's an idea, but I think it'd be interesting. I think that'd be very interesting if they did online voting of some sort. It's like America's Got Talent and shit, where the judges don't actually decide the winner of the show. It's
Yeah.
supposedly the people who watch, you know?
Here, when we go to the Arnold this next year, where we'll just start walking around with a petition, be like, sign this petition to let us do the voting.
Yeah, just you and I. We'll get all the fans who signed. They're the ones who can vote. And everybody who didn't sign doesn't get to vote. Your segregation at its finest.
Oh Jesus!
You have to sign our petition to vote. I think that'd be interesting. But then the problem is it might become like a popularity contest. It's like who's the biggest on social media with the most amount of fans, and they'll get the most amount of votes regardless of how they place.
That's why you got to do a blind, a blind, what are those called? It's blind something. Right? It's like when you do a placebo test for drugs. You put people who have never experienced it, and like people who have no idea what bodybuilding is, and have them come in.
Yeah, or the only experience they've ever had of bodybuilding is just watching the Ronnie Coleman documentary. Like
not
something
even,
like
not
that.
even,
Just like
not even the documentary. Just hearing him go, damn.
yeah, just hearing the name before, thinking every guy who fills out his shirt is a bodybuilder. That's who we need to judge on who's the best up there.
Is
So
Christoph a bodybuilder to you? Well, yeah, he looks like one. Not at
he
all.
fills out his shirt a little bit. So yeah, definitely. Probably men's open, chances are.
Yeah, let me do my NBC debut in men's open. Just get annihilated.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't know. I think that'd be interesting if we introduce something like that. I think that'd be a really fun concept just to see what would happen. But I don't think we'll ever see that in our lifetime. I don't know if they'll ever do
Well,
something like
well, the way that change happens is Arnold made it to the top, and then he started making change up there. So all we
that.
got to do is see each other at the O, and then we'll bless you,
Yeah.
and then we'll start making our changes. So
That'd be good if we could change that up. It'd be sick. But
required ring pop favorite flavor on your little next to the number. So on your speedo, you have your number and then your favorite ring pop flavor. That's just
it's like so
get.
yeah. It's like some like dumbass question like
Here's number 2, blue raspberry.
or like or like your favorite dum dum flavor and the guy comes in he's like, I like mystery flavor. That's my favorite.
When everyone
Fa-
knows it's lemon. Everyone knows it's lemon.
Don't lie to me. It's like the ice cream from Cloud with a Chance of Meatballs and like everybody's in vanilla and chocolate and the one kid's like, my favorite strawberry. He like falls in the strawberry ice cream. That's that guy. It's just like the one outlier. And they're like booing him and he's like, yeah, I'm just the one brave enough to fucking say it. You're all thinking it. You all know the mystery flavor is
You
the
know,
best one.
on second thought, maybe it's a good idea that we aren't in charge of
Yeah.
it.
It's just like, or like, you're like,
Who
yeah,
is your
oh,
celebrity crush?
it's like your favorite quote. What's your favorite quote? We'll put that on your speedo, and I'm just like, I want the entire Declaration of Independence. I want a gigantic poster hanging from my waist, blocking my legs.
Intentionally have a hamstring like deficit and just have the back of the Independence go there.
Yeah, exactly. It just covers up your biggest weakness or something like that. That'd be funny. Um, but I was gonna
Well,
say, like favorite ice cream.
that's
Somebody's
like
like
in
mint chocolate chip, man. It's my
that's like
favorite.
in golf where if someone has a mulligan and you go on stage and like you clearly, like, let's say for example, you clearly have no bicep or a very lack of bicep and you just hold up the mulligan card. You're like, you can't judge me on
You
this.
got a handicap of like plus 5 points or something. I have to place with at least 5 points. You need to give that to me. It's my handicap. I bought it.
Respect my handicap.
Yeah. They're like you they're like, okay, what's one specific muscle you want us to ignore? And it's like, I want my left short head bicep. My left biceps short head. Ignore that, please. They're like, okay, it is done.
Well, that's actually interesting. I saw on, I don't know if it was Instagram or social media or whatever. There's this kid who has it's some kind of muscular like either not hypertension, but some kind of muscular deficiency where his right arm is essentially immobilized, but he
Yeah.
trains his left side or whatever it is. Maybe I have it mixed up, but he trains his one side and his back, chest, like everything. Legs are totally fine, but his upper body is all just that one side, and it's like pretty damn close to like amateur bodybuilding level that he's trained
Yeah.
it to. So he would just walk in and be like, "This one,
Yeah. This
can't,
entire
can't."
right side as he like hobbles onto stage. Can I just point my left side at everybody? You guys don't need to see my right. Just act like that's not even there.
That would actually
Just
be a
like,
pretty interesting division for like the handicapped. Like you have like
yeah.
people who have those problems or whatever, and still let them compete. That would be pretty interesting, actually. Now that I think about it.
They have like the wheelchair divisions, but they don't have like handicap divisions. So I
Yeah,
wonder if that would ever be like there are guys who've competed in the wheelchair division who like literally don't even have legs.
yeah.
But like the I think it would be interesting to have like a handicapped division that's separate from wheelchair where like you were saying like you have like a unique issue that like wouldn't fit into wheelchair or into regular bodybuilding, so you'd fit into the handicap space. You know what I mean?
And the problem is though with that kind of a division is that like with wheelchair division, obviously they're not training legs. Some of them don't even have legs. So you are literally just training from abs up, or you are just judging from abs up.
Yeah,
Whereas in a like an open handicap division, you don't know, like there's no congruity, there's no one
That's
baseline,
fair.
because
Yeah.
like for example, one person, let's say a veteran comes back and just doesn't have a right arm, and someone else's thing is like they have like a messed up pectoral issue, and like you
Yeah.
can't, it's like apples oranges, you can't really do it. It would
I
be more
mean,
like honorary nominees or stuff like
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say you could just do something like where they just get on stage and they just participate in the competition. Like there's no actual awards, you know what I mean? It's just like you just get on stage and do it. And they give you the stage to do that. They give you the platform to be able to achieve that. You know what I mean? I
Yep.
mean that's a lot of like local competitions, that's really what it is like a lot of these guys, especially on the older side, like lost a lot of weight or are in still decent shape, so they want to compete in a show. And even though they're nowhere near like what the judges are looking for, they're still given the platform to be able to be like, "This is what I've achieved. And I'm proud of it. Let me show it." Like there's this one guy there. I remember at my last show. Probably I didn't talk to him. Probably the nicest guy ever. You could tell he lost a lot of weight and he had like a lot of skin left over and all of that. And he was like in his 50s or whatever. But like he just wanted to step on stage just to step on stage. And he was just
Yeah.
happy to be able to do that. You know what I mean? So like that's an accomplishment in and of itself. You know, granted, you know, somebody like me or somebody like you would go for the win because we're trying to compete. It's like it's like comparing competitive soccer to like rec soccer. You know what I mean? Like people who just want to
Yeah.
have fun doing it are also there as well.
Well, that's
So it's
ultimately going to be where I end up going, because like if I choose not to, pursue the even just an amateur scale on the bodybuilding and just continue to do like my heavy aggressive lifestyle fitness, like I will
mm,
just step on stage one of these times literally just to be able to say that I did and enjoy that moment. Like even though I know I'll
yeah,
be completely wiped with like the completely taken out, I'm still going to do it just to have that moment, because that would be just it's even though it is on an amateur scale, an honor to be up on that stage. Like
yeah,
it doesn't matter
exactly.
how low scale it is.
Yeah, there's that one guy that Rich Piana knew that was like in his 40s, and his doctor said that if you try to compete in the Olympia, you're gonna die.
Oh, and he died
And
right after. Yeah,
yeah, he died a week after the show or whatever. But like that was enough for him. Was just stepping on that stage was enough to be able to qualify for the Olympia and step on that stage. And like a lot of these guys take it for fucking granted. Like they're like getting pissed about it or like, you know, just get qualified for the Olympia and they're like, they just go and compete and don't say anything about it. It's like, dude, you just competed on the biggest stage of the world. And like,
yeah.
you don't even say a single thing. It's
I
just
would,
wild to me.
I would not have an Instagram post after I competed on the O that wasn't an Olympia related post. It would just be
Yeah,
that for
dude,
the rest of my life.
man, you got guys competing in pro division or even like on a national scale, and they'll post their show photos like 6 months after the fucking show. I'm like, dude, we get it. We saw what you looked like.
Well,
Like
I
you're
would do
still
that just
posting it.
because I would do
The
that just out of
Olympia,
pride.
understandable.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Olympia is understandable, but like dudes who like aren't even pro yet or NPC level, and they're still posting their stage shots from like six
Okay, I
months
get
ago,
that.
and
Yeah.
it's like, okay, I mean that's great, you're proud. I just think that there's like you've gone a long way. Like to me, like if you're like 6 months or a year, I'll be a completely different physique. So it's like I don't want to. I might post it as a comparison, be like, this is where I was on stage then. This is where I am now. I'm leaner, bigger, and better than I was on that stage then. Sure, but like just posting it and being like, you got to aim for what you want in life or whatever. It's like, dude, I've seen you. You look a lot better now than you did then. Why are you posting that?
Yeah.
But that's just my opinion. But yeah, it is an honor to be able to step on stage, and it is a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun stepping on stage. It's nerve wracking, but it's fun.
Well, even like not even on stage, just doing poses, that's
Oh, I
honestly
love
a
it.
ton of fun. It's a ton of fun. Like, and even if you have an absolute mid physique, like for example, I at Empire, we it's generally a shirt on rule. Like you're not supposed to really be taking off your shirt. People do it. Like there's some like dudes who compete, and when they take off their shirt, it's like, oh shit, we're all gonna fucking shut up now. But and
That's my
there's
goal when I
other
come
dudes.
up there. I'm still gonna be stage ready, so I'm gonna take off
Yeah.
my shirt and be like dice to the gills, still veiny as
Yep.
fuck and everything. That's my goal, and still tan. My tan will still be there, so that's my goal. Anyway, sorry,
Hell
keep
yeah.
going.
But I saw this the other day on all the cable machines are in. So we have the corner in Empire where there's mirrors that
Yeah.
that
And
attach
there's
to
like a
each
Smith
other,
machine
and
there and
yeah,
a
yeah,
big
yeah.
racked cable
And
machine. Yeah, yeah.
that's also the best spot to do any kind of pictures. Like the one I sent you with the dark lighting, that is in that little corner, just because you get an overtop small slit window. You have just enough down lighting. It's literally the perfect spot to take a picture. But the problem is it's super busy in that area because that's the only cable spot and Smith spot. So I'm doing like, I think I was doing my lat reverse grip pull downs, and I see this one dude who, it blows my mind that he's 19. Like, this is what I mean with like how we talk about people who are just built for this kind of stuff. Like
Yeah.
the way he looks, I honestly expect him to be my age or older, and he's 19, and it blows my mind. And he's super humble. He wears the baggiest stuff all the time because he just doesn't want to show off his physique. But then this other dude who has just an mid, like not even like below mid, like low tier. Like he just does not have good build. He's in the gym all the time, so I don't know how he probably has a terrible diet. Like he's not making really gains.
Yeah, he's just at
Um,
the gym to train and
yeah,
be active
and
and stuff.
exactly. And he's talking with this other dude, and the guy's like showing him how to do like a front like chest spread,
Yeah.
or front lat spread, to emphasize chest, and he, the dude with just no physique at all, rips off his shirt, is just sitting there doing the pose. And at first I wanted to, in my head I was being super negative about it, but then I was thinking to myself, and I was like, I love posing that much too. And even
Hmm.
though I feel like I have a much better physique than that, it doesn't matter when it comes to that, because it's just fun to do that. And like, especially the first time that I posed with you and you actually showed me how to do stuff, like you notice things about yourself that you didn't notice before. And that's a
Hmm.
feeling that you just chase every single time that you do those poses. So obviously you see improvement. Like, I mean, you and I talk about my side chest that has come leaps and bounds from where it was, 2 years ago. But just being able to see that monument or progressive improvement throughout the time of just doing your poses, like that's part of the rush.
Hmm. Yeah, it really is. And like that's why like if I could truly pick whatever I want to do for a living, I want to be a posing coach because
Yeah,
I could do that truly all day. Like half hour each client and just picking apart their posing. I could truly do that all day long. I love it. It's so much fun. It's what I love. I love training. Don't get me wrong, but like I'm very particular on who I would train. So like I wouldn't be able to build like an actual like career out of it, but like posing, absolutely. I would love to be a posing coach. And it's to me, it's posing is one of the things one of the only things in life that's ever come like naturally to me. Like it's
yeah,
every single pose I've ever done has come naturally to me for the most part. And like if I'm looking at a photo, I especially now in the day back in the day, not so much, but now I could truly really pick it apart and like actually kind of do the pose. If I could just see like one photo of it for the most part. If I could see a video of like a wraparound of what it looks like, then I could really get it going. But it's something that I've naturally been able to get dialed in. Um, so like building upon posing, like you were saying, it's you get a better mind muscle connection. Your physique overall just drastically improves, and you just know how to manipulate your body in a much better way. So, like between now, like one of the biggest things I've noticed between now and when I started my cut, basically back in April, not even my prep, just my cut, my physique posing has gotten so much fucking better because even just getting the fat trimmed off, you can move your body in ways that you couldn't move before. Even though
mm,
I was like maybe like mid teens for like fat percentage. Like I didn't really have any abs. They're kind of there. And like I had a little bit of like oblique separation, a little bit, like a little bit of veins if I had the right pump. But like besides that, it wasn't really much definition. Even with that versus now, it's night and day. So I can only imagine what it's like trying to learn to pose when you're a very large guy going to a skinny guy. You know, it's all of a sudden like right now, all of a sudden I can vacuum to like my fucking spine where I couldn't do that before, no matter how hard I
yeah,
try, because there's less fat, there's more of a vacuum. And I could be sitting here and like I could flex my abs like without even trying because I have less fat there that's stopping my abs from flexing. Like it's just a weird thing to like to experience And a lot of that, like I said, just comes down from just learning how to pose better. As my physique was improving and losing fat, I just was posing better, and therefore I can manipulate my body better. So my vacuum is now tight, like no matter whenever I do it, and my waist is narrower than ever, and I can show that through posing, and it just gets better because of that. It's your body develops based off the environment you put it in. So if you're constantly posing, you're constantly trying to have a tiny waist and wide shoulders and stuff, your body will naturally go in that direction. And that's kind of what I'm experiencing. It's crazy.
That's like I have my training partner that I've talked about before, Jurgen, and
Hmm.
he doesn't really have aspirations for bodybuilding, but he's got a phenomenal physique. So like I try and push him in that direction, but
Yeah.
just on a muscle building, so like a hypertrophy like mindset, I have him do like, for example, if we do like a incline dumbbell press, I have him do some kind of a chest pose just because. I mean, I think who was the big one? Well, I mean, Arnold always talks about it after doing some kind of movement. You do the pose for it because that actually teaches and trains your muscles to be in that pose, and then you start to not have to puff your chest anymore because your chest is just naturally puffing out because you're training your muscles to be in that position. So
Yeah.
that's why, like, I when I'm training with them, I'll be like, "Hey, we just did that. Go ahead." And even if it's just like pushing your arms together like that and just popping it a little bit more, that still does something. And
Yeah.
so,
You build the mind muscle connection and all of
yep,
that. Yeah, it builds up. And that's why it sucks to see guys who just don't like the same thing with posing. It's like training for the most part is a skill you can learn and it just takes time. Posing a lot of the time it either makes sense or it doesn't, which we've talked about. But it's like there are guys who just will never fucking get it. Like it just doesn't compute. It's like people who are bad at a subject in school. It just doesn't compute. No matter how hard you drill it, it just doesn't connect. And
yeah,
it's you see that at like men's physique competitions or really just any competition in bodybuilding in general, because like these guys will step on stage and their physiques or their pose is not even close to, what a pose should be. You know what I mean? So it's just like it's interesting to see that because it's like that's why I felt it kind of insulting that I got placed the way I did against the guys who didn't have good poses at all because they weren't even close to the proper pose. But
yeah,
like I said, they were leaner. It is what it is. But it's just I don't know the posing. I think if you can get that down packed, that's going to only build and build and build and just get better over time for the rest of your physique in general. So I think it's a good thing to have to use for the future. It's exciting stuff, in my opinion.
yeah. No, it's like such a good feeling to lock in a pose for the first time ever. Like
Hmm.
it just when something just clicks, you know. Like I keep working on that 3/4 turn bicep back pose, what the Arnold statue is. You know, the first time I did it was
Oh yeah,
when I went to the statue. Like that was the first time I'd ever tried it, and so I keep
yeah.
trying to get it. An event like, especially, I'm gonna have some help with you in a couple of weeks when you're up top here. But like when that clicks, it's gonna feel so goddamn good.
Yeah, yeah, it's like the men's physique poses clicked for me, and it just to me it was like, how can you not do this? It's just one of those things. And that particular pose clicked for Arnold. There's just the pose he liked to do, but that is a very difficult pose to get down. There's a lot
Yeah.
going on, and the way you're manipulating your body is way different than most guys think it is. Like you're pointing, if you're doing it where your right elbow is lower, you're pointing your elbow way more downward than you think you are. Like guys will
Mm.
do it and they'll have their legs the wrong way, first of all. They'll have their legs the wrong way. And then when they do it, they'll just do like kind of like a front or back, rear double, and then they're done. But it's like, no, you gotta like fucking fold in half, dude. Like your elbow needs to be
And
almost
then
pointing to the fucking ground.
your lower lats is what's twisting too.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, you're
that's
twisting all that shit, and then you're flexing your legs, and oh, dude, there's just so much going on that guys don't realize, and it's wild. But it's a
yep.
very very difficult pose to do. Most poses, to me, most poses out there aren't that difficult for the most part. I think a side chest is very difficult personally. I think a good quarter turn is very hard. Um, I think a good abs and thighs is very hard to get because you for abs and thighs you need to be lean first of all to be able to do it,
Yeah.
and it's also very hard to learn how to do it properly. And then besides that, it's just that Arnold pose. I think everything else you can kind of like it. Obviously, all of it does take learning, but I think as far as like what really takes a lot of effort are those poses. It's like saying squats versus like dumbbell curls. Like dumbbell curls for a lot of people will just make sense and you can learn it, but like squats is something that's like fucking hard to learn. Like that shit takes a
Mm.
while to really develop as a skill. And that's what those
And have
poses are like to me.
and having the mobility, like hip flexibility and stuff like that. Like you don't need that in other poses,
Yeah.
but like or not. I mean, move exercises. We switched over,
Yeah.
but I mean that's what I mean. Like having that kind of flexibility. Like when I was with the coach, with Alex at the time, we like into every single day's like log was a half hour of yoga slash some kind of stretching movement to give myself that flexibility. I've been slacking on it recently, but
Yeah.
um, I've got reasons to get back into it now. But it's there's a lot that goes into it, and like it frustrates me how little mobility I have when I think I have a lot more. And
Hmm.
if you want to see like a good one, like Tom Platz had some of the craziest leg and hip mobility out of any bodybuilder I've like. He was doing full splits at his size. At his
Yeah,
size, full splits,
he's
absurd.
genetic outlier though, for sure though.
No, I
Let's
know,
be
but
honest.
it's
Like he was,
what
yeah.
I agree, and that everybody at the top of the top is a genetic outlier. That's just who they
Yeah.
are, and you can still take parts of what they do and try and emulate it. And
Oh
so,
yeah.
like the flexibility that he had, like, I mean, even just hack squatting the way he hack squatted. If you've ever seen that, like how deep he goes into that hack squat and how low his feet are on the platform, like you
Yeah,
can do a
he
deep hack squat when your feet are up top and you're doing your glute focus, but having your ankles off the platform because you're that deep and then going to the full depth that like you need to have absurd knee and hip flexibility just to be able to even go down that low, let alone push back, because that's
yeah.
all quads
I mean, for Tom Platz specifically, he had, like you're saying, insane flexibility, but it's also his joints were like next fucking level titanium. Like
then.
he just
Yeah,
had phenomenal joints. Like all the lifts he was doing were like unassisted with like no fucking like leg sleeves or knee sleeves or really even a belt half the fucking time. And yet he was still doing to that depth. So he was very blessed to have something like that where like my elbows, I'm very blessed to have the elbows that I have because no matter what I bench, my elbows never hurt. But some guys bench half the weight I do and keep the same form and depth and everything, but their elbows just kill them. So it ends up hindering the overall movement for them. So it just everybody's built different. And Tom Platz, like that's why he's known as like the king of legs, is because a big reason of that is because of his joint health. It's just for some reason his joints
yeah.
could just fucking take it. He could leg press a fucking tank and his knees were fine. You know what I mean? It was just crazy. Like that's what's so crazy about Tom Platz. But I could never. I want to do a leg day with Tom Platz just to try it, but it'd be fucking. I'd kill myself after, and I'd be like, "This is terrible."
Literally on the point of death. Do five more. Do five
Yeah,
more.
I was watching a video of him talking about it yesterday, and I forget how fucking crazy he is. Sometimes he's like, he talks about how he want to like borderline black out during squats,
Yeah.
and like he'd feel good for the next week because he realized he survived his squats. I'm like, dude, that's not okay. I'm like, you should not be like just about dying your set or dying from your set. You know what I mean? Like that's not okay. But
Yeah.
he what was I gonna say? I was gonna add something else to that. But he also did squats, like barbell squats only like once a month. People think that he did it a lot more. And he
Yeah.
said that he actually like he didn't actually like doing squats. He just knew how to hit them really hard. So when he would do them, he would do them properly and was crazy at them, but he didn't truly like doing them. So he only did them about once a month when he would actually have to do them.
Yeah.
But besides that, he wasn't doing barbell squats. He was doing hack squats and leg extensions and shit like that. Um, which is my personal belief. I think machines work best for me for legs than like free weight does, but that's just my opinion. But
Mine's
yeah,
a
it's
mix.
he's
Mine's
wild.
mine's definitely a mix because like I can hit like like if I want my outside quad, my inside quad, like doing leg extensions, I can hit that better than anything. But if I want a true full leg burnout, like nothing's gonna beat my barbell stuff that I do. Like between my squats and my lunges, like if I want a true leg burnout, it's those. No machine's gonna have me on the same level.
See, I think so. Like, I think it depends on the day. Like, arms, for instance, my biceps agree so much more with like free weights and also cables, where my triceps like only agree with cables basically. And then like my shoulders is very free weight focused with like some cables in there. My back day is a good mix. My chest day is mostly machinery. Um, and then my leg day is mostly some sort of machinery with some free weight in there.
Yeah,
Um, but like my back day is the most versatile because I could really do cables, I could do machinery, and I can do free weight. It all just depends on like right now I'm doing a lot more machinery and cables than anything because I just don't have the energy for free weight right now. It just my energy is just not there. But besides that, yeah, that's probably about right for most of the time. My back is the one that changes the most. Um, but yeah, legs is hack squat. I think is the go-to. I think it should be the
yeah.
go-to.
I hack squat once a week because I do 2 leg days. So I do
Yeah.
ideally my first run of the week is my heavy, like I go balls to the wall with weight, and then my second one is volume heavy, and I'm going more for, doing as many reps as possible for whatever I'm doing. So I'll hack squat in the rep heavy one, just because I get a far better feeling repping a ton on a hack squat than doing heavy and less reps on a hack squat.
Yep.
Um, so I'll do it a ton there. Um,
You don't do like a quad day and a ham and glute day?
nope, it's everything both times.
See, if I had 2 leg days, what I would do is like 4 or 5 quad movements with a glute movement, and then my ham day would be the same, like 4 or 5 ham movements and then a glute movement. That's what I would do.
Yeah.
So like I have like a quad day, a ham day, and like a little bit of glutes on each because I don't really need to build my glutes. That's where I pin, and my glutes just grow without even trying. So I don't really need to work on those. But yeah,
Well,
I think that
just
would be
for
good.
the amount that I do for my muscle recovery, not even for lifting, but just keeping like my sport muscles alive, like between my cold plunge and my other ice things that I do, like I just have ridiculous muscle recovery. So by the time I get to my second leg day, or because I work out every muscle group twice a week, so whenever I get
Hmm.
to anything the second time, I feel ready and I can do a full workout. Like I texted, I went into my second chest back day. What was it? Today's Saturday. On Thursday, I went into my second chest back day, and
Yeah.
I texted May, and I was like, "Hey, I'm going in, and I'm gonna go light and go volume heavy." And she was like, "Oh, have fun, whatever." And when I left, she was like, "Oh, how'd it go?" And I was like, "I lied. I did heavy." Just because like when I'm going, like I just can't, like I'm going to failure, so
Yeah.
I'm going to push my body through and through, and there's just no stopping it.
Yeah, sometimes you just end up going heavy. It's like, fuck, I didn't mean to do that.
it was it
That's
was
that's
that
what's so hard for me
it's
right now.
that's why deadlifts are tough for me, because I cannot mentally wrap around doing a light deadlift for a ton. I have to put
Oh,
my
I can.
body through the ringer for
Oh,
deadlifts.
dude, do like what are your deadlift reps typically,
So with the current plan right now, it's failure at 10, failure at 6, failure at 4. And that's at
bro?
the end of the workout.
Go to failure on 20 and you're gonna hate your life. Like deadlifting feels like cardio when you're at like 20 reps. It sucks, but then your back is like fucking fried. When I
Well,
did
I get
deadlifts, I would do like 14 for a warm up, and then I do like a 14 rep working set. Then I do like 12, 10, 8 from there
yeah.
till failure.
Well, my if I'm going volume heavy, I can get a way better, not just pump but connection doing rack pulls instead. Like if I'm going
Hmm.
for volume heavy, just because I can completely isolate the back at that point. Obviously, it's not really. I figure like rack pulls are like a semi compound movement, if that's a thing, just because you're eliminating the legs from it.
Right?
But
Yeah, I wouldn't call them an isolate movement, but they're compound for your lats specifically.
but that's what I mean. Like I would say it's like a semi, like as it's in between, whereas deadlifts is like full compound.
Yeah, it's like your
Um,
whole body is deadlifts basically.
yeah. So yeah, I do my heavies, and I can't really. tell myself no. But this upcoming week, not because today's Saturday, so my chest back day resets on Monday. I actually have
Yeah.
to up the weight because obviously I'm going for failure at 10, 6, and 4, and I started failing at 10, 6, and 4, but now about like a month in, 2 months in, I'm now going like it's like 14, 10, and the last one I got 7, and so on
Hmm.
my what I should be failing at 4 with, so I'm gonna up the weight this upcoming week, and then see where we go. Obviously, I don't do 1 rep max anymore, but I'm really curious
Yeah.
to see what my 1 rep max is for deadlifts at this point.
I would not be heavy at all. I fucking have no energy, but I'm not even doing deadlifts right now. It just takes too much out of me. I have a lot more isolate back movements right now. But yeah, that's what's hard for me right now is that typically I'm so used to going to like 8 failure and like my reps being like just over 10, where right now for larger muscle groups, it's 10 to 15 reps no matter what. And then accessory smaller movement muscle groups is like 10 to 20 reps. So it's
Yeah,
like warm up at like 15 and then it's like 14, 12, 10 versus like 12, 10, 8. And then like smaller muscle groups is like 20, 16, like 14, 12, 10. Like that's kind of what I end up doing. And
yeah,
it sucks. It's so backwards for me to do like that many reps. Um, but I mean, I'm also, like I said, I'm also just very low energy right now. So I'm not trying to do anything super heavy, anything super compound focused. I think like some of the biggest compound movements I'll do is like straight leg deadlifts or like flat bench dumbbell press. Um, I think that's like the biggest ones I can think of. Back, I guess pullovers maybe. Like not it's a machine though, so it's not even really like that big of a compound movement. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for back. For back, there's not much big compound movements. I'm just fucking toast. It just
yeah.
my carbs before before my workout every day right now is 2 rice cakes. Like I have nothing in my system. It's 6 ounces of chicken, 2 rice cakes, and a tablespoon of almond butter. That's all I have. So it's like I go into it already depleted, basically, already hungry by the time I get to the gym.
See, I'm always looking for random new things to do, either pre-gym, post-gym, just anything to increase performance.
Yeah,
And I go to meetings with an older guy who runs all the time, and I don't run. Like I can run if I need to for my different, like obviously playing like softball or something like that. I need to
yeah,
run, but I don't train running. Um, I
I can
do my
never.
I I have to get in. I Not that I have to. I'm going to slowly start getting into it just based on what's going on in my personal life. But I I do obviously like my incline walking for my cardio at the end of a lift. But what I talked with this dude, and he's a dude that I revere. Like I look up to this man, and
Yeah,
he goes, "I do 2 bananas before any workout." And I was like, "All right, you know what? I'll you never know. I'll give it a try." And the only thing I could think of is the potassium and anti-cramping, and like because that's solely what bananas like. That's like the only reason you eat a banana before a workout is because you don't want to cramp. And I don't cramp a lot
yeah,
anyways. Like I hit abs every day, so by like today, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, like I hate doing abs at this point. Um, so I do cramp up a bit there. So I was like, oh, whatever, we'll give it a try, and 100% placebo effect, but I lifted more weight than I ever did after eating 2 bananas before my workout.
yeah, yeah. That's totally just because you were thinking about it.
It's purely placebo. So I I'm going to keep doing it for a little bit, but yeah, it's I always love looking for these random things, and there's no real gain to it. Like I'm locked in with my meals beforehand, like I get a ton of like I'm amped up in the gym. I'm not I mean obviously your diet makes it so that you can't really do this, but like I have
Yeah.
so much energy when I hit the gym just because I'm eating damn near 1,000 calories prior to my lift, so I just have so much in my system ready to go.
Hmm.
So I'm amped up every single time I go in there.
Yeah, I mean, I can't stand it when people are like, "Oh, I train." like lifting fasted. I'm like, then you're not doing anything. Like you're not actually getting
Yeah,
anything from your workout. You're wasting your
I
fucking
can
time.
I can understand fasted cardio, but not lifting.
Correct. Fasted cardio has a place. I do fasted cardio every day, and that's for shedding fat. Um, which isn't really how you should treat cardio unless you're doing something like I am for a show where you actually want to burn the calories for the
Yeah,
weight wise. But when normally what you would do is you would just do it for your overall cardiovascular health. Um, but yeah, it's like training weightlifting fast. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. It's so backwards, you know. Um, it don't make sense. So I always tell people like if you're gonna weight train at all, like um at least like have like you said a couple bananas for the potassium, um, or just put something in your system because people will be like, oh, but I have pre-workout as well, and I'm like, dude, you're having pre-workout and you're not eating anything. Like that's so bad.
bro, I'm fasted lifting and dry scooping my pre workout.
Oh my, I throw up, dude. I just throw up. I'd projectile puke directly onto them. Like that's what I
You
think of
see the
you.
video? You see the video of the dude who's deadlifting and like three-quarters of the way up just spews over the mirror.
Oh, it happens all the time. It happens all the time. People fucking pee on the deadlift platforms now. It's fucking gross. But
New Mox.
yeah, I'll go to PR, guys. But my guts are on the floor. My intestines coming out my mouth. Um, but yeah, it's fucking whack. It's just like, dude, you're just, especially if your pre-workout has niacin in it, and you end up having a niacin flush, like, oh, dude, that shit sucks so bad. My multivitamin has niacin in it, and I have to have my multivitamin with food, otherwise I'll get a niacin flush, and it's the
Yeah.
worst fucking feeling in the world. So it's so dumb. It's so bad for you to take a pre-workout on an empty stomach. It's not good. Always have something in your stomach. If you're gonna be training, have a protein and a carb at least. Ideally, a fat too, but um, don't go fasted. That you're just wasting your time.
Well, that's actually an interesting point too. Like I do I mean, we've talked about intra workouts before, and I'm obviously not doing a product version. I'm doing like Gatorade with it, which kind of does the
Yeah,
same thing. I have to deal with the sugar levels, but um, my diet is so like make sure there's not a ton of sugar. I realize now after when I sent you the diet a while back and we both noticed a ton of sugar, it was a misinput. I'm not consuming that much at all. Um, but the people in my life here know that I do not touch anything that has added sugars. Like maybe once on like my Saturdays when I'm doing my Five Guys refeed, but for the most part, if there's added sugars in it, I'm just not touching it. And
yeah,
so when I was working out with someone the other day, and she saw me take like my Gatorade out, and she goes, "You know what's in that?" And I was like, "Yeah, I know." And I do it for the carbs, and we talk about having that
yeah.
energy in the gym and having super fast digesting carbs that keeps me
Yeah,
going through like the rest of the workout. And that's like the products that people should really be looking into, like having something to give you sustainability throughout your lift. Like obviously you don't have to lift as long as I do because I'm back into my hour and a half 2 hour range for training. um,
hmm,
and not everybody has to do that, but even for a 45-minute workout, at the 20-minute mark, take some kind of intro to make sure you can give your best kind of workout for the whole thing.
see, when I have an intro on purpose, like if I have like it's part of my plan, I drink it throughout my workout. I'll have a scoop
Yeah.
of my intro and drink it as I'm lifting. Powerlifters will do a lot of gummies, typically, but yeah, Gatorade has a place. So even like Gatorade Zero, like after doing more research and reading more into it, especially when I'm like taking something like Clem that just sucks up all your electrolytes, like Gatorade Zero really truly does make me feel so much better, with the
Mm,
electrolytes that are in it. So like it really does have a place if you are in the niche minority of like actually finding use with it. Because typically it's not something I would recommend for the most part, unless you're like me, where you're super fucking depleted and the electrolytes really truly do make a difference. Otherwise, there's really no point. Um, but yeah, that has a place too. And it's just Gatorade's just gotten a bad rap where it's like it's just a flavored sugar drink, and it's like it's really not. The
Yeah.
dextrose really is really good for you when you're training, but intra workouts are more designed for it. The one I have right now is Evogen, I believe. I think my coach gave it to me because he's sponsored by Evogen. But like that one's pretty good. Intra workouts, like I was telling you, they're more money up front. They're like $30 or something, but you get like 30 servings out of it. So it's like it typically ends up being about the same or cheaper per serving than like getting a Gatorade bottle, like a medium sized Gatorade bottle, and doing it that way.
Yeah.
Unless you went the route of like powdered Gatorade, then that's a different story because powdered Gatorade is extremely cheap. Um, but I don't know exactly the content differences between powdered Gatorade and like pre-bottled Gatorade, so I couldn't really attest to that.
Yeah, I don't ever touch powdered stuff just because I'm so used to denying it in the past because of how much added sugar is in any kind of powder. It's like the Two Bears One Cave bit where Bert Kreischer
Yeah,
and they're talking
like a
about the
half gallon of
Kool-Aid.
fruit punch. Yeah, the cool. Yeah, he's like. What's funny about that too is he's like, that he's like that he drinks a lot of Gatorade because he called it red and not fruit
Yeah.
punch. He said, "Oh, what flavor is it?" And he goes, "Red." I'm like, "You drink a lot of Kool-Aid then. You call it by the color." Um, but yeah, no, that was cool. And he's like, "It's watered down. It's not bad." I'm like, the more I learn about Bert, I'm like, how the fuck is this guy alive? Like, you should be dead. You should be dead by now.
Yep.
Um, but anyways, yeah, it's hard to. So the video I was telling you about before we started recording was this guy was talking about how it's okay to be a for-profit company. Like that's totally fine. And like, there's just been this full like mentality for some reason that like if you're for profit in any way for whatever it is, you're most likely an evil corporation or evil company. And it's like that's not the truth. But if you are for profit, it's more than fair to ask questions about the product you're supplying. If it's nonprofit or like donations or something like that, like the Red Cross, like I wouldn't really question what kind of service the Red Cross gives because it's all donations, there's no profit, like nobody's making anything off, it's all volunteer, stuff like that. So like one of the things he was mentioning was how everybody questions big pharma, right? He's like everybody's talking about whether or not this works, whether or not like it's okay to consume stuff like that. He said, but then when you're talking about natural supplement industry that makes billions of dollars a year and they're all for profit, nobody's talking about it. Nobody's asking questions. Everybody just like, oh, this is just how it is. This is just what you take. This is just what you drink. Like nobody asks the questions of what's actually in the supplements. And nobody actually questions whether or not the supplements are genuinely what they say they are, you know?
Yep.
So like that was an interesting point because like to what you were saying earlier, like there are good and bad multivitamin brands. Don't get me wrong. Like not every multivitamin is perfect, but there are a lot of brands that really do supply like really efficacious doses of shit. Animal Pack is one of the best ones you can buy out there, in my personal opinion. Right now, I'm taking a relatively cheap one just to get by financially, and that's from NutriCost. NutriCost is a good brand. I've had
Yeah,
their
I
stuff
do.
before, and it's worked.
I do. I think it's like I can actually see it. It's Equate, like the
Oh, the
just
Walmart brand.
yeah, and
I think it's Walmart. Yeah,
I get up by totally fine with it. Like I don't have
yep,
any problems with it.
yeah. I think.
and I've
I mean, when
and
it,
I've also been taking it long enough that there's no way it's placebo effect anymore. Like placebo
yeah,
effect only really lasts at most like a month or two. And when you've been
yeah,
taking something for years, it's like you know you're past that point.
yeah. The other thing you got to be careful too is that like a lot of multivitamins, for instance, they'll put a lot of fillers in it to make it seem like you're taking more than you are.
Yeah.
And as long as you're getting like a good amount of each vitamin, that's really all that matters. Like, I calculated my macros and micros recently on Chronometer online, which you guys should check out if you want to calculate your macros and micros pretty easily. Chronometer is pretty sweet. It's free. It's not the best platform, but for free, it's pretty decent. Um, and they have all the brands of stuff. So I put in that I take a NutriCost multivitamin, and looking at my macros, they're all pretty much handled. Pretty much every micro is handled besides fiber. Like that's pretty much it. So I'm like, good. That's really all I need. It's just like good enough. I just need everything at least covered. Because if you're taking more than you need, you're just gonna end up peeing it out anyway. So there's no really point of taking like a multivitamin that has a shit ton of everything because you just end up peeing it all out. So might as well just take
I
whatever is
take
enough to be efficacious.
I take 20 grams of creatine, bro. You're peeing it all out.
Yeah, you're peeing out 15 grams of that. Like, there's no
Yeah.
point in that. Same with the overload. I can't stand that. You got to do a creatine overload for 5 days. No, the fuck you don't. Like, you already get enough creatine if you eat red meat for the most part. Like, if you eat a couple meals of red meat a day, you get a lot of creatine from that. Plus, you supplement in 5 grams. That's plenty. You're good. You don't need to do a 10 gram fucking or 10 gram overload for 5 days. That's just the supplement company trying to get more money out of you. And on top of that, that's another one. Creatine is fucking creatine. I don't care where you get it from. If it's
Yep.
creatine monohydrate, it's creatine monohydrate. I'm not going to pay $30 for 30 servings from this name brand where I could pay $20 for 100 servings from like bulk supplements or something. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, it's all the same shit. When it comes to like amino acids, it's the fucking same shit. Same with BCAAs. The only difference between all the BCAAs is one flavor and sometimes the ratios. If you get like a 2-1-1 ratio, like you're only really getting maybe 5 grams of BCAAs versus like a 6-1-1 ratio or something like that, or a 6-2-2 ratio or whatever it is. But as long as you're getting like 10 grams of BCAAs and like 5 grams of glutamine, you're good when it comes to BCAAs. So it's just like all these people are like, oh, it's $40 for 20 servings because these BCAAs are next level. It's like, dude, they're the same fucking BCAAs as the other guy who charges half the price. The only difference is the flavor, really.
Yep.
So like my BCAAs I take right now, which I can't take anymore because it's fucking. I think there's probably artificial flavors in there.
Yeah, I was gonna
Is
say unnatural.
yeah, is Vitamin Shop. Vitamin Shop, their like Body Tech or whatever brand. It's like their BCAAs. It was on sale for it's 40 servings. You only get 5 grams of BCAAs or something, so it wasn't enough. But it was like on sale for like $15. So I was like, fuck it, I'll grab that and I get 20 servings out of it. I'm like, that's so cheap for BCAAs. Like that's like less than $1 a serving. That's super cheap.
Yeah.
That's kind of where I'm at with a lot of supplements is like, as long as it's a trusted brand, I'm gonna go as cheap as I possibly can because they're all the same fucking shit. But I'm not like, there's just one company who advertises on Instagram. I'm not sure if you've seen it where it's like, they send you like you put in like it's kind of like the steel thing where you pay shipping, but they send you a whole tub of BCAAs. I'm like, I'm
Yeah, I
not
haven't
trusting
seen
that
that.
shit. Yeah, I do not trust that. I'm like, if it's like a sample of like 5 servings or something, sure. But like they say it's a full tub of 30 servings. I'm like, there's no way this is good.
It's they ship you just a full tub of fentanyl and just kill you.
Dude, did you see that thing that went around at all? That's been happening to construction workers in Massachusetts,
I
where
didn't
people
see
would
that.
go up
No.
and offer construction workers water, like water bottles, and they'll fucking lace it with fentanyl.
Jesus.
Apparently, that's happened a few times now. I'm like, what the
Bring
fuck
your
is
own
wrong with
bring
people?
your own stuff. Never trust other people.
Yeah, exactly. Got to be careful of that. Bring your water, bring your own food. But yeah, I started
No,
packing my wife's food
I
now. I'm like, I don't want you to keep eating out.
I blindly take stuff in the gym. I don't, someone says you want this, I say yes.
If it's a puddle on the floor, I'll drink it.
Well,
If it's wet,
the big dude sweated out, which means he's got gains. I got to do it too.
I'm like secondhand anabolic, dude. Like I'm secondhand taking steroids because I'm drinking his sweat off the ground.
Hey, you go to a new coach. Are you on anything? Well, yes and no.
I'm on John's sweat is what I'm on right now. Whatever
I'm
he's taking
pinning
is
I'm pinning Paul's sweat.
yeah, he wrings it out from a towel and I get infections every time, but I mean it's totally worth the gains.
You ever have rabies gains before?
Oh, dude, that's so fucking gross. You ever
Oh,
go
ever
what?
see Blue
Why's
Mountain
my dick
Steak?
get Oh, I've seen clips of it, but I was gonna say why is my dick so itchy now? What the hell? What's going on?
Blue Mountain
Does he have an
Steak is
STD?
there's a
Yeah.
guy who goes and he goes into his captain's bedroom thinking he's taking his captain's steroids and he goes out to the race that they're going to do and he's just profusely steaming from the mouth like a rabid dog and the guy's like, what did you do? And I was like, I took her steroids. I was like, nobody takes steroids anymore. That was rabies you just ingested.
Dumbass. Yeah, no, I don't even, I wonder if that is a thing. Like, is there any trace amounts of like shit in your sweat? Like,
Oh
I wonder what that
no.
would, like,
It's
like
all
I
salt,
truly,
man. It's all salt.
I mean, yeah, true. But I just wonder, like, is there even anything like trace amount in your system? Like, do I like sweat out Winstrol a little bit? Like, like I wonder, like, now that I'm on Winstrol starting today, that's another change actually, is we're taking Winnie now. I'm like, I wonder if that sweats out at all. Like, that'd be interesting to see. Like, what's
Are
coming
you
out?
salting? Are you salting your foods? Well, Paul's sweat has salt in it, so I'm just dabbling that on my on my chicken.
Oh God. It's like your girl comes home from the gym. It's like, wait, I need some seasoning. You just like put it
Oh
under her.
no.
You like stand there for a second and just dripping. But like, dude, I could fucking fill a bowl of fucking empty bowl with my sweat. Like with the no AC and trend and everything, I'm just
I'm
like I have to blow it off my face.
I'm telling you, it's bad at Empire. Like when you come up this next or in a couple of weeks, it's
Oh
bad.
yeah,
Like I love
you'll
it.
see me sweat for sure.
I love how much I sweat. Like I actually enjoy it because like we've talked about this, but like I get like the old school vibe from it. But
Yeah.
it is brutal. Like I genuinely, if I don't like, sometimes like nowadays I just leave the gym without wearing a shirt. Like you're not supposed to be
Yeah.
working out without a shirt, but when I'm leaving the gym, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I do that. But before that, I was bringing a second or even a third shirt just because I was sweating so much in the gym. And I talked with
Hmm.
another one of my friends who lifts there, and he wears a shirt for when he lifts, then he'll go into the locker room, dry off, put on another shirt for cardio. Then when he's leaving, he's got another shirt to go with. Like,
Oh, I just do shirtless for cardio. Granted, I can
but
actually do
we
that,
can't.
but
I was gonna
you
say
don't
we
get that
can't do
option.
that.
Yeah, I mean, at that rate, I would just honestly keep the same shirt on because it's already sweaty as it is. I don't want to have to keep doing more laundry. Um, my coach was like, when I started doing fasted cardio, when we put that back in there, he said, like, when we went up to like 30 minutes, and he's like, because like that's kind of the point. Like, I could probably do 20 minutes of like 15 incline, 3 mile an hour walking without really breaking much of a sweat. Like, I'm starting to get hot, but I'm not really sweating much. But like 30 minutes is where like I'm really sweating at that point. Um,
Yeah,
and he was like, he said his recommendation for cardio is fasted and then before meal 6. So it'd be like I instead of doing cardio at the gym, I'd come home and eat, take my fiber supplement halfway between meal 5 and 6, and then like right after cardio, come back and eat for meal 6, right? So he
yeah.
said the only problem with doing it that way is just you have more laundry. And I'm like, bold of you to assume I'm not wearing the same outfit the whole day. Like, he's like, you have to do laundry after each cardio session. I'm like, I work from home. I'm just gonna sit here in my own stank, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I don't. I need to go to an office and smell good. So I just, when I sweat in the morning, I'll just kind of wipe it off and work from home, and then I'll train. And then when I come home after doing cardio after training, that's when I shower. So
Your
really
wife
only do like, mhm.
your wife comes home and just passes out from the cloud of stank that's in the
Oh,
apartment.
dude, I smell so bad most of the time just because of my sweat. It's fucking gnarly. Especially coming home from the gym. Like today, I'm gonna reek because I'm going to the gym without the AC. I go 3 times a week to this gym, and I just
Yeah.
come home just drenched. And my car smells too because I get to my seats.
Yep.
Um, a lot of time I'll drive home without a shirt on because I'm just so sweaty. There's no point of putting on my drenched shirt already, or as it is. So I just come home and end up getting sweat in my seat. So um, my car ends up smelling from it, and there's nothing really for that I can do. At home, I could take a shower after training, but in my car, there's nothing really I can do. I mean, I could put down a towel, but then the towel would reek, and I have to do more laundry that way.
Yep.
Um, so, but yeah, it is what it is. You look like Doctor Evil, like petting his like skinless cat. Have you ever seen Austin Powers? Yep. My
Mr.
dog's not in
Powers.
here; they're outside. Doctor Evil. When I come out
Well,
of here,
if
they're probably gonna bark
anything,
at me.
I was gonna say, if anything, you gotta do it with the ball, with the not much hair on top of your head.
Yeah, just my head. I just
The
show
the,
up,
the
and that's
Doctor
like,
Evil. Oh, if you have to shave for the comp, you have to buy the full gray suit and cosplay Doctor Evil.
oh gosh, no way. I got to get the fake scar down my face too.
Yeah,
Oh God, I would throw up if I saw myself like that. Just
legendary.
with the pinky. Um,
That's too
but
funny.
yeah, we'll see how that goes. Like I'm gonna talk to him more about facial hair and stuff and see if he approves of like a slight handlebar, maybe. Just kind of like extended outwards, maybe a little bit. Not quite like looping, but like
Loops so much it's up at your eyes.
yeah, it's like poking me in the eye and I'm like my eyes twitching. I'm
The
getting
judge
poked.
thinks you're winking at them, but you're just dying from your own handlebar.
Yeah, yeah, my eye is like getting ruined from hair poking in it. Um, but yeah, so next weekend we'll figure out something for the show weekend. We got to figure something out.
Yeah,
I'll be free that entire Sunday pretty much, so we'll figure something out. But
yeah, we'll be
next time
fine.
you guys hear from us, it'll be peak week, and I'll be talking about where I'm at for the show. But yeah, looking at the difference between today's weigh-in and Wednesday's weigh-in, like my waist looks like it's like 2 inches smaller. Like it's like
Yeah.
it went from like a little bit of fat to like fucking none. Like my underwear is almost like curling. Like there's nothing for it to like attach to. You know what I mean? It's like it's just I don't know how to explain it. Um, but like usually when you have like a little bit of fat, it kind of like hangs over a little bit. Like it's like a little bulge. That bulge is gone. Like it's just straight like skit like flat all the way up my back now, which is kind of cool. But
Hell
um,
yeah.
but yeah, so we'll see how next week goes. But appreciate everybody listening to today's podcast. If you made it this far in.
Hell yeah. We're almost at 50.
Oh yeah, that's right. We are. We're getting close to 50 episodes. 52 is a year, so we're getting there. We're getting up there.
Yeah, it is.
So it's
All right,
exciting.
everybody.
All right, we'll see you guys.
Peace.